test driving for the first time 1967 factory L89 aluminum head 427 tri-power, one of 16 built, one of 2 delivered to California. Let's go for a ride. Back memories, I don't know what does. When I was 14 years old, I would fill up these Stingrays as they came in to the Mobil gas station. Well, this isn't a Mobil, this is a Union 76, but regardless, I would fill them up, and the owner would be so freaked out. Why? Because here's the gas lid right in the middle of all this beautiful paint, and here's the gas cap. Basically, you can see all the way down to whether or not you need fuel. These cars are so cool. They would never get through Washington, D.C. and OSHA and Department of Transportation rules and regulations today. But what the heck? We don't care. We are from the 60s and we love it. Okay, this bad boy that will spin these original tires. Look at these original Laredo white wall tires from 1967. Most people would say I'm crazy to even drive on them. But we're just going for a little joyride around the block and seeing how this bad boy handles. All right, get on in. Time to go for a ride. Corvette Mike in his L89. The 30-year search is over. For those of you that may not have heard previously, it took me 30 years to buy this car from the previous owner. It sat in a very large collection in Houston, and I would bug him every year until he finally invited me out last year to buy this car. All right, a little railroad tracks. Very nice, no bumps, no rattles, handled good. We're just gonna take it for a little spin around the block. And we don't care about no Teslas. We don't care about no electric cars. This is about combustion engines, and the biggest of them all, the 427 Corvette. And we don't care about economy of fuel either. We have 3 carburetors on here. It burns enough fuel to keep the Arabs in business. I'm just going to pull over here a second and let that truck do his deal while we look at some of the gauges. We have a clock that is ticking. The battery was disconnected. So it is approximately 3 o'clock. That's close enough. We have a temperature gauge that's reading just under 180. Oil pressure, which is working nicely, going all the way up to 75 psi. A tachometer. That works good. It's not bouncing all over the place. Real miles, 37,691. Amp gauge is working. I'll step on the brake. And gas is just slightly under a quarter of a tank. Horn works.
The needle in a haystack. You can post your job.
Radio.
But then off. And that's
some didn't know how to. Those were some of the
AM, FM. We'll turn that vent on. We don't feel nothing coming out of anything until we pull the defroster, and then it'll come out at the bottom. Over here we'll pull, and that'll change it to the upper. Turn the fan off, and away we go. brings back the good old days. These original tires will not be the tires that I actually used during the PV, because they are original and they do have flat spots on them. This is just for today, until we change them out. This car came equipped from the factory with real dual side exhaust on the tank sticker, factory leather. We are sitting on the original leather seats. It came with power brakes, F41 suspension, transistorized ignition, mandatory for the 435s, with or without aluminum heads, and the K19 smog pump. Very rare options indeed. L89s were about 75 pounds lighter for the 427 than their counterpart with cast iron steel heads. That savings was tremendous in balancing out the big block, almost to the point where it maneuvers and handles like a small block. And the valves in the aluminum heads were much bigger than the steel heads, so it allowed the engine to breathe better, developing closer to 500 horsepower instead of the 435 that the steel heads actually produced. Back to the military compound. This car is under 100% surveillance with armed Marines 24 hours a day. We leave nothing to chance around here to protect all of our beauties. And there you have it. The first test drive on public streets in the state of California since this car left California in the 70s. Sold new at Cochran & Shelley in Oakland, California. This is the first time it's ever been in Southern California. Adios.